Okay. Recording started. Start broadcast. Did it work?
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. This is Don Rodriguez again. Welcome to the third day of Analytics Week. We'll be starting shortly. If you would be so kind as to raise your hand to let me know if you can see the screen right now, which should be the welcome screen. And let me know via your question box if there's any audio issues. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Okay. Good afternoon again. We're going to get started. So welcome again to day 3. And today we're going to be talking about retail analytics hacks with 2 of our clients, Melissa Anderson from PC NameTag and Jordan Levy from Glow Professional. But before we get started, let me just give you a brief overview about NetElixir and NetElection University for those of you who might be new to our audience today. NetElixir was founded back in 2005 with the goal of helping digital marketers succeed online. We have offices here in Princeton, New Jersey, which is our headquarters. We have an office in London, and we have a significant team in Hyderabad, India. Altogether, we are 85 fanatically analytical search marketers that combined have over 5.5 million hours of hands-on retail search marketing experience. We are a full-service agency, and one of the things that makes us a little unique is that we actually have in-house technology as well as doing traditional agency services like paid search management, SEO, and social media optimization. LXR is our technology platform. The multi-channel tool there that's listed is what we use to manage our clients' online marketing activities. The LXR Marketplace, which you can find at lxrmarketplace.com, has 21 free search marketing tools that are aimed at small businesses. It's currently being used by over 60,000 users in over 170 countries. So I encourage you to check that out. And finally, LXR SEO, which you can find at lxrseo.com, is our SEO toolkit for small businesses, and you can sign up for a free trial there. We also do consulting. And for example, this week our topic has been analytics, and we have done some analytics consulting in the past for some somewhat household names like Toys R Us and Brady Corporation. We've also done engagements involved with digital marketing strategy and the development of executive dashboards and KPI reporting. And since it's Analytics Week, we wanted to highlight some of our standard analytics package offerings. And the ones that I'm highlighting here are geared towards your experience level with Google Analytics, which was sort of the theme of our talks this week, building from the basics to tomorrow's topic of a more advanced topic of attribution. So for beginners, we have what we call our rookie packages, and basically these are a couple of offerings, one-time consultations that are aimed at helping you make sure that you get your Google Analytics set up properly the first time. The mid-level is for people who have been using Google Analytics for a while but simply don't have the time or resources to make regular dives into their data. And it's intended to give you just more frequent visibility to that data with a monthly or weekly report on your KPIs, as well as some insights that we gain from looking at those KPIs. And then finally, for the more advanced users out there, we have what we call our data junkie packages. These are 3 service offerings that are really aimed at the primary goal of using Google Analytics for most of our clients and most of the people that we have talked to about analytics, which is finding ways to grow revenue. And so there are 3 of them. The keyword profitability analysis will identify your most profitable keywords at the revenue and gross margin level. The market expansion study leverages site search data to identify new market opportunities for you. And then the key product sales driver is exactly what it sounds like. It identifies those online marketing activities that are the key drivers for your top product sales. I also should point out that we do custom projects as well. So we'd be happy to talk to you about any needs or challenges you might have around the topic of analytics. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment because I'm getting some feedback that we have some visibility issues. 2 splits of the screen. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on. I apologize. Is anybody having video issues? What is the issue? Do you know?
Something with the computer. Do you want to try and mute it in here? That work?
Oh, weird. So it's not my resolution. Yeah, tell you what, I'm going to start it up again. And all right, I'm in slideshow. I'm going to unpause it. Can you tell me if it's still screwed up? Actually, I'm going to page up one. Page down. Page up. Page up. Okay, I understand we're still having technical difficulties, so give me another minute. I'm going to pass control to somebody else to see if we can solve that. Okay, hopefully you can still hear me. We just switched presenters, so hopefully this looks better. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. Just quickly, NetElection University was started several years ago with the mission of we wanted to basically share best practices in retail and digital marketing with 10,000 businesses by the end of this year. And as some of you have heard already, we are have done a little over 8,000 so far, and by the end of this week we hope to be closer to 9,000. And we encourage you to join our NetElection University LinkedIn page at the link that you see there. Just to let you know, any first-timers today, we are offering complimentary mid-year health checks for either your Google Analytics, your pay-per-click campaigns, or your SEO efforts. It's a good time of year for retailers right before you start your holiday season prep. You could just email us at university@netelixir.com with a subject line letting us know what you're interested in. And if you could please include your name and phone number in case we have a hard time on getting hold of you via email, that would be terrific. Here's what we're going to talk about today. Talk about clever uses of RLSAs, or remarketing lists for search ads. We're going to talk about measuring YouTube impact. Melissa is going to talk to you about those two items, and then Jordan is going to talk to you about segmenting customers using customization in Google Analytics. But before, I just wanted to share with you the inspiration, I think, part of the inspiration for today's topic is about hacks. So, let me just go ahead and play. Yeah, you need your speakers on.
Let me ask you something, friend. Do you like saving time? Do you like saving money? I do.
You're welcome.
Do you want to have fun?
You're going to cook a pizza using nothing but the sun.
You could accomplish all those things. You could get all that with Hack My Life. Take a tab from a soda can, put it on a hanger, boom, you just doubled your closet space. Life hacks are creative solutions to everyday problems. Success!
To find out which ones are worth your time, we are testing, exploring, and rating the world of life hacks.
Magic!
We found some hacks for getting rid of pet hair that involve using a squeegee and a flip-flop.
Go. You tripled the size of my fur ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out, is this hack or is this whack?
What's happening? It's cool because we're debunking it in a way.
Now you go ahead and give it a sit and let us know if that has created a nice and pleasant barrier.
Oh. There's a level of unpredictability.
Let's test these grill hacks. Potato chips, nacho chips, and marshmallows. Typical grill for a burger. You want to run it at 375 or 450. I can't get in to get a read. Oh my goodness.
We also have a lot of fun messing around with unsuspecting people.
There are more than 50 ways to hack your way into a bottle. We have laid out 7.
Looks like they've gone with the plant hook.
Oh, this is going to splash everywhere. You have the best hack ever for opening a bottle of wine right on your feet.
Give it a few more.
Hack My Life, coming in January on the new Tree TV.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. It was the barbecue hacks that caught my attention, just so you know. I figured it was appropriate since it was summertime to kind of show you. So what is a hack? Well, there are 191 million, results in Google when you ask it to define hack. So we're going to focus really on 2 of them. This is the first one that really, I think, inspired again today's talk, which is it's a clever solution to a tricky problem, and you're going to hear about that a little bit later. And then life hacking, right? Which refers to any trick, shortcut, skill, or novelty method that increases productivity and efficiency in all walks of life. And obviously, our jobs are part of our walk of life. So our first speaker is going to be Melissa Anderson from PC NameTag. She is their strategist for digital and direct marketing. She views herself as a Renaissance marketer. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I suggest you go look it up, as I had to do. She started her marketing career way back in high school, so she's been a marketer pretty much her entire adult life. She, like me, also teaches on the side. She teaches an SEO and an hour-a-week class to small business owners in the University of Wisconsin Small Business Development Center. And she has used the word scrying, not crying, in a business context. So I also suggest that you go look that up. I had to do that myself. So with that, we'll let Melissa take over.
Thank you, Don. As you can tell by my bio, I came into digital strategy through a marketing road and not necessarily a technical one. So my hacks are more on the strategy marketing side versus the technical side. I work at PC NameTag. We are a direct cataloger for meeting and convention supplies. Started in 1985 before we had the internet, and now we have it. So I help kind of merge the whole catalog world and the website world. I started here in November of 13, but PC NameTag actually has been working with NetElixir since 2011. And since I'm of the marketing brain and NetElixir is of the analytical brain, we really do good work together with very complementary skill sets. And I want to show that to you because in the first 12 months at PC NameTag, working with NetElixir, we were able to increase the pay-per-click revenue by 43% year over year. At the same time, decreasing our spend by 12% year over year and increasing our click-through rate by 188% year over year. And since we started, we've actually increased the number of tactics for search engine marketing that we're using by 50%. So it's been kind of a fun 18 months trying some new stuff. And I'm going to share a couple of them with you today. The first one is we're going to talk about YouTube. And let me set the situation for you. We were in our busy season. And Don, the slide's not advancing. So do you want to see if Emma can give me control? There we go. Awesome. All right, YouTube. We all know and love YouTube, right? So here I am. My tricky situation was that we were in the busy season. And our business is highly seasonal, very heavy in the spring and fall. There's only one of me. We're a small business. And I didn't have any availability with my graphic designers or my videographer to help me out. Our ROI numbers on search engine marketing were great. In fact, I thought they were kind of too high. I thought we were leaving money on the table. And I really wanted to capitalize on our high web traffic we were having. But since I'm not a graphic designer or videographer, I had to use existing assets. So NetElixir and I explored YouTube ads. And what we decided to do was use an existing YouTube video we have on the site to use it as an advertisement. And I'm sorry, my clicker is really slow today. But you can see the one that's going to be highlighted in about 90 seconds is this one in the middle that's an informational ad to our customers. It was originally designed for FAQs, kind of to act as a salesperson. So we use that one as an ad. All right, and if you can see with the next slide, I will tell you why we chose that ad. First of all, within the first 3 seconds, you see our brand and our tagline. This is great awareness building. With Google AdWords, you spend money with Google with pay-per-click, right? We all know this. With YouTube, you spend money with pay-per-view. And the hack is that Google doesn't count it as a view right away. We've all done it, right? We're watching a video, and all of a sudden someone's ad comes up, and in the lower right-hand corner is the countdown. You can skip this ad in 5, 4, 3, 2. So within that first 5 seconds with this video, not only do I get my brand name shown, also on the next slide you can see that the headline is teased. So this is event tips. So if you are a meeting planner, this is a very relevant headline to you. And we tease it in hopes that you'll continue to watch the video, learn something, will reinforce their expertise, you may be intrigued by the product. If you're not a meeting planner and you could care less about this, then you go ahead and skip it and I don't pay. So it is a win-win. I call that the 5-second rule. You guys might have a different definition for that. So on the next slide, you'll see how we set this up. We targeted a couple different ways. What we did was we overlaid demos Emma, can you advance the slide for me? And so right away we took off, any demographics of people that we didn't think we needed to talk to. Google's got a lot of ways you could do this, so we just took that slice right off. And then we overlaid different targeting types. We overlaid topics, keywords, and interests. Topics is the content that's on the web page where the ad is shown. Keywords you're all familiar with. And then interest is the historical behavior of the searcher. The next thing we did is we chose 2 different ad formats. We had in-display, which is when you promote a video next to another video, and we had in-stream, which is what we were just talking about with the 5-second rule. That's the promoting video before a video. Then we had 3 different networks: Google Display Network, YouTube Search, and that only works with the in-display format, and then YouTube Videos. So when you do all the math, we ended up setting up 15 campaigns. And although that might sound scary, Don and I set it up in an hour. It was pretty painless. So how did it perform? This is where we tie back to our analytics. And the marketer in me wants to remind everybody that you have to measure your intent. Now I'm going to share with you how it performs on a couple of different levels, and then I will tell you how we were using this and how it performed for us. So if you wanted to use YouTube ads for clicks, we found that we got the most clicks with our in-stream format. If you wanted to use it for impressions, for awareness, we found we got the highest impressions with our in-display format. But if you wanted to kind of do the straight line, which is tricky, back to conversions and revenue, much trickier with YouTube ads than Google AdWords, we did get our highest view rate with our keywords, specifically the in-stream format. All right, so how did it work for us? Well, anyone would love to run to their boss with this graph in the lower right-hand corner with all that blue going on. And you can check it out, and you can probably guess just when we started our YouTube ads, right? Beginning of October. Our referrals jumped 200%, which sounds super impressive, except our numbers started small, and so doubling them, we still got a small number. So that's not actually the whole story. The whole story is what happens when you combine our YouTube ads with people's behavior. So you've done this, right? You're on YouTube, some ad comes up, you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You let it play, and then on your browser, you open a new tab, you go to Google, you type in the company name, and you check them out, right? And in the background, your video's still running, the ad's still running, chatting away, and you're reading something else. So if you do that with this, you see that you can type in PC name tag, our branded ad comes up, and our organic result comes up. So that's pretty slick. So if you think about what people might do when they're confronted with our ad, and you take that into consideration, these are the results that I'm pretty proud to share. First of all, there was an 8-time increase in total search engine growth rate. Bing. There was 5 times change in branded paid search. 5 times change in the good way, right? And then our direct goes from negative year over year to positive year over year. At the same time, remember, correlation, not necessarily causation, we exceeded our peak season stretch goal for paid search by 29%. And I really challenged these guys. And the fact that we blew it out of the water was pretty cool. I was pretty happy to run to my boss with that one. So I would encourage you guys to try YouTube ads, but remember when you're going back in analytics and you're asking yourself, how did this do, you got to measure the right thing with these, right? So we're going to switch now. We're going to talk about clever uses of RLSAs. And Don is going to poll you and ask how many of you are using RLSAs. So Don, you want to hit the poll? All right. We could be experiencing more technical difficulties,
yes, we have to pass because of my screen issue. Hold on. Let me see if this works.
Aha, I see it now.
See
All
now?
right, everyone, just yes or no. It's pretty easy, right? Are you using RLSAs? If you don't know what RLSA is, you could probably assume you're not using it, right?
All right.
All right, everyone got their vote in?
Not yet. Getting close. 2/3.
All right, you got to close down your other browsers that you're reading during the webinar. Vote. And then go back to what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll do my usual countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close and there. Check that out.
All right, good. You guys will learn a lot. Okay.
Exactly.
That's great.
All right, now I need to hide it.
Yeah.
And it should go back to Emma. Nice.
Okay, we're getting this now.
Oh.
All right, I just need control back. I think I got it. Bam. All right, so midway point, little remarketing joke for you, where the husband asked the wife, should I be concerned by all the targeted ads on your computer for pina coladas and getting caught in the rain? Now, if you think this is funny, you know that it refers to the song Escape. If you don't think it's funny, it's because the song Escape was released by Rupert Holmes in 1979. So you might go over your head on that one, but look it up. It's kind of funny. Okay, what the heck is an RLSA? An RLSAs are remarketing on the Google SERPs. Well, what's a SERP? I'm just going to pretend there's one person out there that might not know. A SERP is Search Engine Result Pages. That's what that acronym stands for. Simply said, it is the page Google shows you after you go to google.com and type in a search query. It's the results, right? RLSA is just another flavor of remarketing. It's remarketing on google.com. All right, so I know tech people love their acronyms, but marketing people love clarity. So I wanted to be sure everyone was on the same page. So the two hacks that I will tell you about today include using RLSAs around branded terms or trademark terms. So keep in mind that in 2013, competitors can use your trademarks in their AdWords campaigns. Some of us were putting our competitors' branded terms in our bid list prior to 2013, but now Google said they're okay with that. So here's an example of what that means. If I was on google.com and I searched for Jeffers Vet Supply, I would come up with Jeffers Vet Supply, right? Their pay-per-click branded ad and their organic result. But guess what else shows? That one of their competitors' ads shows. And so we're going to assume that that competitor has Jeffers Vet Supply as part of their keyword list that they're buying. So this is all quote-unquote fair, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't work that well. And here's the reason. The quality scores are really low. And if you consider what Google uses to determine a quality score, or part of what they use for our best guesses, I call it the keyword trifecta. Is the keyword in your bid terms? Is the keyword in your ad copy? Is the keyword on your landing page? Well, easy enough to put the keyword in your bid terms. Harder to get the keyword in your ad copy. Your competitors don't really like that. In fact, one of our competitors did that to us, and they got a little friendly letter from our lawyer because we didn't like that. And then it's almost near impossible to put their branded keyword on your web page. Near impossible, especially if they're not generic words like IBM or Samsung. How would you use that in your web copy? If your competitor has slightly more generic brand terms, it's sneaky at best. And I'll give you an example of that at University of Wisconsin, where they promote MBAs. One of their competitor is Northwestern. So when I was there, we did let people know how easy our campus was to get to. It was a short drive from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Northwestern, Illinois, right? So I'm using their generic term on my webpage without actually using their trademark term. I'm sure they didn't like that. So what's a gal to do if you can use your competitors' terms but you get low quality scores so they're expensive and they don't show up? This is what we tried. We took their trademark term, so company ABC. We overlaid a product term with it, widget 123. And how you do this is if you have a competitor keyword set up, you find the terms. So here's an example that shows up here. If you look at there's Staples, I'm sure Staples competes with every B2B company, and there's a couple different products here. So those are our long keywords, they're long tail. And we use those to build an RLSA campaign. And what's interesting is when you use the long tail terms, you'd think the impression share goes down because it's long tail and so it's more specific. Actually, our impression share went up. And I'll show that to you in just a minute. The other interesting thing about this is you can tailor your ad copy toward that brand and that product. One example is that we have a competitor who carries a like product as ours, but it has a known quality issue. So in our ad copy against that company and that product, we were able to call out that quality issue and position ourselves as the better choice in our ad copy. So how did that work? Let me show you the before. The before, trademark company ABC. Search it up in Google. I get company ABC's ad, an unrelated ad, and then company ABC's organic listing. My ad, nowhere to be found, right? Overlay a product term, company ABC plus widget 123, we get the trademark ad, the trademark organic listing, but look, we get impression share, hooray! Also, you'll notice our quality score went from 2 to 8 on this example. That is pretty sweet. I think anyone would love to have that. So here's more results. Although if you look at the bottom set of numbers, our average length of our keyword went up by 57%. We really went long tail on this. We were able to increase our quality score by 24% from about a 4 to about a 5. And we were able to make our keywords work more for us. We have now 52 keywords that are generating impressions compared to 36 historically that are generating impressions. So that's a 44% increase. And get this, you guys, 4 weeks. We've been running this for 4 weeks. That's it. We've just scratched the surface. So we're pretty excited about blowing this out a little bit more and seeing what happens. All right, so what happens if instead of your competitor's brand term, you actually consider your own brand term? You can use RLSA with your own trademark brand terms to reduce spend, to kind of trim the fat. And here's an example of what happened when we did that. Now, first, I want you to look at the red line. The red line on here is the total search traffic, organic, paid, indexed on its 13-week average. And don't be too worried about indexing. All it means is showing you trends without actually showing you numbers. But the main point is it's going down, and that shows seasonality. So when you're doing an experiment, when your seasonality is going down, you have to keep that in mind so you don't think that your results are going down just because overall seasonality is going down. What happened was anyone that had previously visited the site went to in an RLSA audience and was suppressed from being seen the ad if they went back to Google and researched, because we think they're highly likely to just click the organic result. As you know, anyone that's been on Google.com can tell that the ad and the organic results are not really differentiated very well. They I don't want to say trick the consumer, but they don't make it easy for you to tell what is the ad and what is the organic result, and for their own benefit, because they have like a cajillion dollars in sales, and I think that was the official number from 2014. And so they want searchers to click on ads. That's how they make money, right? But if someone's been to our website and they're trying to get back to our website, do we want them clicking on our ad? We think we can convince them to just click on our organic result if we don't show them the ad. And so even though seasonality went down, the green line when we did that didn't go down quite as much. The green line is just the trademark and the organic traffic against itself once that suppression happened. The blue line, that's just a different way to show the green line. That's a percentage of share. So where the green line's numbers, the blue line's a percent. So you can see the blue line's going up. Up is good, which means it was successful in getting searchers to transition from clicking on the paid ad to clicking on the organic result, saving, go to the orange highlight, people, 32.5% reduction in trademark spend. Raise your hand if your boss would be happy if you saved them 32%, right? So this is a great way it's a low-risk way to trim the fat off of your trademark ads if you're looking to cut costs. All right, so that's an RLSA hack. Number 3, what's next? What do we have on the to-do list? Using RLSAs for recruiting. You thought I was going to say sell product, right? But think about other things that your website does. For us, we have our employment opportunities listed on our website. You guys probably all do this as well. Well, we're looking for a UX person, an interactive designer. And anyone that has tried to hire an interactive designer recently knows that there's about 8 open jobs for every qualified applicant. So it is a buyer's market. So we had to change the game a little bit and do a little bit more trying to get a great applicant in here. We set up a remarketing audience around our employment page. And then when we set up a campaign, we did some targeting options, including a location option. It's not an executive position. We don't think anyone's going to move across the country to come design our website for us. And also, NetElixir found some interest and some managed placements for us. Now, I'm not a graphic designer, so I just ran these past my coworkers, and they're like, oh, yeah, I totally go to that website, blah, 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 blah. And they went into the campaign and got set up like that. So your next question is, did it work? And as Murphy Law has it, while we were setting up this campaign, we actually got 2 good applicants. So right now they're being vetted and interviewed. And so we felt like we didn't need to spend money right now because we already have what we wanted. So it's on hold. But if those guys don't work out, we will fire this up, and I can circle back and report the results in the next webinar. So let me just summarize some points here for you today. Don't be afraid of YouTube. Right? If awareness is important and you want to do something to generate that, it's something you can afford, it's easy to set up, and why not try it? Why not put some test dollars toward that? Point number 2, if you are not using RLSAs, 85% of you, start thinking about it. Just try the very basics. The hacks I showed you today are kind of the intermediate/advanced version, but RLSAs are great, and you should be using them as part of your pay-per-click tactics. And then if you are, that 15% of you that are doing RLSAs, think about how it works and what else you can use them for, how it might relate to your business. You might be able to use them, your business is special, and so there might be something you can use them for that, I haven't thought of, but you can see how if you frame it correctly, the sky's the limit with these. Now, if you want to learn more, there's a Google article that Don put out here for you. Usually I just search up the topic I want to read about and read someone else's blog because I feel like Google's blogs are written by their developers, but that's just a personal opinion. And then any questions, I know NetElixir is happy to field for you. And I think this webinar is archived, and you can go back and share it with your friends. Yeah. So Don's going to take it back over and introduce you to his next speaker.
Thanks, Melissa. That was great. We'll go. Yep. All right. So now we're going to hear from Jordan Levy, who is the Director of Digital Communications at Glow Professional. In case you're not familiar with Glow, Glow sells cosmetic, mineral, skincare, and makeup products, both to consumers and wholesale accounts. You'll see that the wholesale part is a key part of Jordan's presentation. And he is responsible for all online revenue as well as customer experience. And with that, I will introduce Jordan to you. And Jordan, let us know if you can take over, because we're using MSPC.
Okay. So as Don mentioned, my name is Jordan Levy, and I'm the Director of Communications for Glow Professional. And just to give you a little bit of background about us and what we use our website for is, our website is essentially the gateway for anyone to purchase from us as a direct-to-consumer or a wholesaler. And we don't have brick-and-mortar stores, so our wholesalers are just that. They're proprietary businesses. They come to our site, purchase product. But the difference is that they have to log in to get their proprietary pricing. And the way that we do this is we have different price plans set up in Magento, and Magento is what we use as our e-commerce platform. So someone logs in, their credentials are tied to a very specific price plan, and then those prices are shown to them. And that's going to be the basis of how we use custom variables. So within Google Analytics, I created a number of dashboards, and in speaking with Don, he was actually surprised that I used so many of them. And for me, it's a really easy way for myself, my executive team, or channel managers to go in and quickly get data for the week or the month, whatever your reporting cycle is. And for me, it's very important to know what the domestic consumer does versus the wholesaler. So I went in and created a dashboard for consumers only, so I can easily go in and pull revenue numbers. I can also pull paid click, Facebook, Instagram, email, organic blog, however you want to do it. Whatever's important to you, you can pull that. But how do I get the consumer only data? Is when you go in and you want to create one of these specific boards, you navigate to the custom variable value 1 is what it is for us. There's up to 5 different values you can put in. And as I mentioned before, these custom variables are tied to our price plans, and which each price plan, if you're a wholesaler, the word wholesale will be in your price plan. If you're a consumer, the word consumer will be in your price plan. So really all I have to do is, for a consumer, is go in, put the value containing wholesale, and then don't show it. And essentially, that filters out anything else. And as I mentioned before, because a wholesaler has to log in to get the proprietary pricing and make a purchase, it doesn't make any sense for them to purchase not logged in. So I feel very confident that as long as I exclude wholesale, I'll get the data that I'm looking for. Now coming up are 3 examples of the actual programming code that is placed on the back end of the site. The first one is going to be not logged in. So essentially that's exactly what it means. It's someone who comes to our website, they haven't logged in as a consumer, they haven't logged in as a wholesaler. As a result, if there's transaction data associated to not logged in, they're going to be filtered in as the consumer. And then I wanted to just kind of point out what each one of these values mean in terms of the custom variable. So the portion that's highlighted, the customer type, that's essentially the name of the custom value that you want to see in Google Analytics, and then the value not logged in. Now the one preceding customer type, that's the index, and essentially you're allowed a numerical value of 1 through 5, and Google only allows up to 5 custom variables per page. So you have to be very particular in if you do want to extend these, and I'll give some examples at the end of my presentation of how you can use custom variables, but just keep in mind that you can only use 5, and that's where that number is assigned to. And that last number 2, that means that we want to track sessions. You have the option of tracking visitor, sessions, or page views. And if you wanted to track visitor, you'd put 1 there. If you wanted to track page views, you'd put in 3. For us, it made sense to track sessions in this place. And then moving forward, this is just an example of a consumer, and like I had mentioned before, it's a consumer price plan because it has the word consumer, and then the next one is our wholesale. And we have multiple price plans for consumers and wholesale. It could be USA wholesale, it could be Canadian wholesale, it could be another subset of a USA wholesale. But as long as we keep that word wholesale and consumer within every single value, it makes it very easy for me to go in and filter these results in Google Analytics. Now there's many other ways you can do this and segment data within Google Analytics. really, if you ever go into any view, you can see different line charts, and you can segment different data points. You can put conversion rates of pay-per-click versus your organic visitors. But what you can also do is you can create custom segments. So what we did is we created a custom segment for wholesale and a custom segment for consumer. And this is just an example of how it looks for us. And essentially, for this example, if you wanted to navigate within Google Analytics and go to the left-hand Conversions tab, E-commerce, Overview, you'll notice there's a line graph at the top, and then you have the different segments. From there, you click in to open up the segments. On the left-hand option, you'll see a custom option, and that will essentially lead you to this view that you're seeing on the webinar today. From there, it's the same as putting in the dashboard. You just have to either include or exclude whatever value you want from that custom variable. And your results can be a line graph such as this. Here we're looking at conversion rate. So you have the conversion rate of all sessions, the conversion rate of consumers, and the conversion rate of wholesalers. For us, it makes sense that wholesalers' conversion rate would be much higher because they are already a customer. They're already going to buy from us. So we're not necessarily worried about the conversion rate of a wholesaler. We might be more concerned about what products are they specifically buying, and we can also segment that data in other ways in Google Analytics, but this is just a quick example of how to segment in a linear graph. Now, Google also has the ability to just show you the custom variable data as its own, where you don't create segments. And for that, you basically go to Audience, Custom, and Custom Variables. Let's let this catch up. And here you can see our customer type. Again, that was the name of the piece of code that we have on the back end. And then if you click into that, you can see the specific price plans. And if you wanted to, you could just do a quick search for wholesale or consumer, and that'll pull up just those price plans or custom variables that contain those keywords. Now, before I pass it back to Don, there are a couple other ways that you can use custom variables. For us, we use it to track visitor behavior once someone is logged in. But if you're a publication site and you have different authors, you can set it to track authors and what they do. You can also track different categories on your website. You can track social shares, use it to track rewards programs, or even items in a cart, so you can get more in-depth detail on cart abandonment. What number of products do people typically have before they abandon? How many products they have before they check out? So there's a number of different ways you can do it. I highly recommend to research what would work best for you and just testing it out. From here, I'll pass it back to Don.
All right, thanks, Jordan. So, for those of you who might be using Universal Analytics, this is just kind of a quick how-to on how you would take Jordan's idea and apply it in Universal Analytics. And in the Universal Analytics, the custom variable capability was replaced by custom dimensions and custom metrics. And one of the changes was an increased flexibility in the fact that you could have as many as 20 custom dimensions added to your Google Analytics account per property, versus there were only 5 custom variables available. So the flexibility is significantly increased. And essentially, as Jordan just indicated there, you can track pretty much anything you want with custom dimensions and metrics. It's, you know, online, offline data, CRM data. It's almost a limitless kind of capability, so to speak. There are Google calls it a scope. So when you set up your custom dimension, you define the scope, and the 4 scopes are product, hit, session, and user. And I'll just briefly, review those. Product is obviously what it's related to a product, and that only applies to people who are using enhanced e-commerce, which we spoke about yesterday. A hit is just what you think it is. It's a page view. It's a click on a link, click on a button. Session is, what Google defines as a user session, right? So it's, point A to point B, and a single user can obviously have multiple sessions, right? And then the highest level is the user level, which means that that value gets transferred across sessions. So for example, the customer type, you set it once and sort of forget about it, because as long as that person's cookie's intact, you'll always know what their customer type is. So customer type can be defined as a custom dimension, and you'll find the custom dimension in your admin screen under custom definitions. I've highlighted it there. You click on custom dimensions, and it brings up the add custom dimension screen. And here you can see I've already selected user as the scope, and you hit create. And then you add code to your site. And I won't go into all the technical details, but basically this code looks very similar to the code that Jordan showed you from his use of a custom variable. You're setting the value for that custom piece of information that you're tracking. In this case, it's called dimension 1. And then you send the page view data, right? So it's really that simple. And then when you're going to go look at your data, custom dimensions get added to your reports just like a standard dimension. So you can see here under secondary dimension, I had set up in one of our clients' accounts a custom dimension called test, right? So you can see that the custom dimension appears in the list of dimensions, and then when you click on the little arrow, you get the list of custom dimensions that you can apply as the secondary dimension. So fairly straightforward. All right. So to summarize this part of our talk, and before we get into questions and answers, the customization capabilities in Google Analytics, whether you're using the classic or the universal type, really can take your use of GA to the next level. I will tell you that way back in the day, they used to have a feature called user-defined variables, and I used that. Those two, then it was only 2 variables, and I used it to track buyers, of which Google now does for you with advanced segments of people who made a purchase. And I also used it back then to basically, this was in the days when Google was supplying you with the organic search query that was driving traffic to your site. I had a filter set up in one of my views where I mashed the search query with the bid term. So I actually could look at the performance of my paid search campaigns based on the search query that was driving a particular keyword. So as I said, the customization really can take your views to the next level. If you have the development resources at your disposal, I could urge you to think about how you might use customization to make, like in Jordan's case with the custom dashboard, making your team more productive, or in a way that will provide you, additional insights. And if you can't use the custom advanced segments, which is, as I mentioned, I think 2 days ago, the most powerful feature, I think, of Google Analytics. If you can't use that to slice your audience in the way that you want, think about how maybe adding a custom variable or a dimension might allow you to do that. And I've given you an article here. Again, it's a Google article. I support Google. They're one of our partners, right? So that's their article on dimensions and metrics, right? So you can read up on that. And for those of you who have been on our first 2, you know that we like to give you a thought experiment. So here's today's thought experiment. As I mentioned yesterday, we believe they get increasingly more difficult. So I know that the first day we had over 80% right answers. I don't know the percentage of right answers we got from yesterday's puzzle. I apologize. But you can find this puzzle on our NetElixir University page, right? So in case you didn't grab a screenshot. I want to remind you about the complimentary mid-year health checks. And now it's time for Q&A. And here. Okay. All right. First question I have, which I guess I'll address it to Melissa, but Jordan, if you've got ideas, feel free to chime in as well, too. Someone was asking if you thought of any other interesting ideas for the use of RLSAs.
We do have one that we didn't put in the presentation today. It is because of our highly seasonal business. If you guys are a member of an association or you go to your little town fair annually, you know it's very annualized. If your meeting is the third week in May, it is the third week of May every year. So unlike some traditional catalogers, recency is not a great variable for us. If you just bought something from us, it actually doesn't indicate that you're going to purchase from us soon. We actually show that you're going to purchase from us in about 47 weeks. So with the RLSAs, we can set up a unique audience around seasonality, specifically purchase time, you know, month of the year, week of the year, and we can serve that in, you know, the future. So instead of, you know, if someone just purchased or just abandoned their cart and then you show them the ad in the next 7 days, we just hang on to that audience and that cookie, and we expand it out. And so if your meeting's the third week in May, maybe the third week in April we start showing you ads, either Google Display Network, RLSA, whatever, because you can maximize that field. What's the technical name of that field, Don?
Which field?
The for serving the audience. You can go up to what, like 480 days or 560 days?
Oh, the look back period for the remarketing. It's like,
look back.
I think
There
it's
you go.
540.
Yeah. So it goes beyond 30. I found a lot of Google has everything set up for like their typical 30 days, and a lot of those you can change.
Okay, we are right at our 2 o'clock time period. So the other questions we'll address in our Q&A blog afterwards. I thank you all for attending. And for those of you who are not registered, I encourage you to attend tomorrow when we talk about mastering attribution and the findings of our research study on over 500,000 transactions and 89,000 different conversion paths. I'm sure you'll find it interesting and provocative. And again, on behalf of NetElixir, I appreciate your attendance. And you'll receive an email link later today with the link for downloading the presentation, and at some point the recorded webinar will be up there as well. Again, thanks a lot, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Jordan.